Okay, guys, so we got Marco Rubio, neocon warhawk, apologist for Israel, and Ben Shapiro. We already know about this guy. So they're discussing how the Trump administration, instead of deporting a lot of these immigrants that came in over the border, and as he says he was going to focus on that. Right? This is so far he's had the lowest amount of deportations between Biden and Obama. And he's solely focused on revoking student visas that protest against genocide and war, right? So let's get into this clip here.
And then your predecessors, that includes moves to get out of the United States people who are terror supporters, not just people who say bad things, but people who are actual terror supporters, act in ways that are conducive to actual terror groups. I wanted to give you a moment to sort of explain the approach that the State Department is taking in taking a look at, for example, student visa holders, and what are the standards that are being used to determine whether somebody should stay in the United States or should go, because obviously opponents of the administration are arguing it's violations of free speech. People have the ability to say what they want. That's not an argument that the administration is actually arguing with. The administration is not trying to crack down on free speech. You're trying to actually stop something else.
Yeah, well, let's start with the baseline. Okay, no one is entitled to a student visa to enter the United States. No one. It's not a constitutional right. It's not a law. We every day, consular officers on the ground in face-to-face interviews are denying people visas for all kinds of reasons. Because we think you're going to overstay, because we think your family member is a member of a drug ring, whatever it may be. We deny visas every day all over the world. No one's entitled to a visa. Let's start with that. Because I hear some of this reporting out there, like if somehow you're allowed to have a visa unless we can come up with a reason why you shouldn't have one. That's not true. The burden of proof is the other way. Now, let's say you go to a window somewhere in the world and say, I want to go to the United States to study at a university. And as part of that interview, it comes out, you think Hamas is actually a good group. We probably would not let you in. I would hope we wouldn't let you in. Okay. But let's say we don't ask you that question and you get into the US on a student visa, and all of a sudden it becomes obvious you think Hamas is a good group. Well, then we should revoke your visa. In essence, if we would have denied, if we learned things about you once you're here that would have caused us to deny you a visa when you were overseas, that's grounds for revocation. It is not in the national interest of the United States. It's not in our foreign policy interest. It's not in our national security interest to invite people onto our university campuses who are not just going to go there to study physics or engineering, but who are also going to go there to foment movements that support and excuse foreign terrorist organizations who are committed to the destruction of the United States and the killing and the kidnapping of innocent civilians, not just in Israel, but anywhere they can get their hands on them. That's not in our national interest. So we have a right to deny visas before you get here, and we have a right to revoke them if we believe that your presence in our country undermines our national interest, our national security, and our foreign policy. And that's what we intend to do. Now, listen, there are other student visas that are being canceled that have nothing to do with us, by the way. And that has to do with someone, for example, who is here on a student visa and has a DUI. And I don't know, that's not us, that's DHS. But I don't know if people realize if you commit a crime while you're in the US, that's an automatic grounds for revoking your visa. And no one was ever doing it. They weren't cross-referencing the system. Now they're starting to do that. So that's the majority of these. But we have identified, I can't tell you the exact number because it's static and it's constantly moving. But when someone is presented to me and it's clear that this person is a supporter of a foreign terrorist organization, we're going to remove them from the country. You're not going to be here. It's just that simple. What a stupid thing. What a ridiculous thing to invite people in your country so they can be part of these movements that are terrorizing fellow students, tearing up campuses, shutting down campuses. We have campuses in America that couldn't even operate for weeks. People couldn't go to class. Are we crazy? What other country in the world would allow this? We shouldn't allow it.
Secretary Rubio, I think that the controversy that's arisen over, for example, the detention of Mahmoud Khalil, who is one of these students at Columbia University who has a green card, but who was also engaged in protest activities that violated the law, who obviously was sympathizing openly with terror attacks by Hamas and all the rest of this, that the sort of controversy here, there's a common thread to the opposition to the Trump administration on this stuff, which is, as you mentioned, this bizarre idea that people are somehow owed entry to the United States. I think that ties in very strongly to the Democrats' new approach to what's going on with this Salvadoran migrant who's now been deported to El Salvador. The administration has taken a legal position that basically now that he's in Salvadoran custody, that it's up to the Salvadorans whether to return this person to the United States or not for further due process concerns. But that's really not the case that's being made by opponents of the administration. Many of the opponents of the administration are making a more significant case, which is the idea that basically if you get into the United States, you are somehow owed a permanent status in the United States. And you're seeing this across the board, ranging from the Trump administration's moves to get rid of temporary protected status for people who have entered en masse under the Biden administration, to the resistance to DHS or the State Department making moves with regard to the tens of millions, possibly, of illegal immigrants who've been brought into the country by the Biden administration. There's this bizarre supposition that everyone on earth is somehow owed passage to the United States and permanent membership in our society.
Yeah, and I think it explains to you why we have the immigration crisis that we had. And it was the belief, they would all say, we believe we should have immigration laws, of course. But if you get into the United States, you should be allowed to stay. If you make it here illegally, no matter how you got here, then you should be allowed to stay. I mean, I think that mindset that's being revealed in these cases tell you how you get 12, 13, 14, 20 million people entering the country unlawfully and illegally over the last few years because of this mindset that, yeah, we have immigration laws, but we don't really mean it. Once you get in.
All right. Okay, man, I'm getting sick of listening to Marco Rubio, the apologist paid on AIPAC's payroll, and Ben Shapiro, who he's a pathological liar, guys. Guess what, buddy? Yeah, America's not like the rest of the countries in the world, right? We still have rights here. We have a constitutional right to freedom of speech, ass clown. And even people on student visas have the right to free speech. It's a constitutional right guaranteed to all individuals within the United States. This asshole knows the Constitution better than me and everybody else, right? And he's still over here lying to the public, about, oh, we have this huge immigration issue. All they're really focused on, guys, is censoring anti-war protest, anti-war in Gaza protest in order to get the Americans collectively to support a full-blown war with Iran. That's what they're trying to do. Wait for the false flag, guys. Don't say I didn't tell you. Wait for the false flag. But this is what's going on here, guys. You have clowns like this guy, Marco Rubio, who come on here and act like he's doing a disservice for everybody. And the people that they're kicking out. Okay, one, you had an individual who she wrote an op-ed, right, at her school about like an anti-war op-ed. Two, another guy got kicked out after he stopped an anti-Semitic, get this, he stopped an anti-Semitic rally that was happening right next to their protest. And three, the Khalil guy, he's getting deported. There's no evidence. They still have yet to bring evidence that he says he supports Hamas. He supports ending the war in Gaza. That's what the majority of protests are. It's nothing to do with supporting any terrorist organization. So again, guys, this is what's going on here, and this is all brewing, right? So this is all just heating up until they start prosecuting, hitting us with charges, right, to American citizens. So they're all brewing this shit up until it starts happening to us, right, to American citizens. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with here, guys. Welcome to the Trump administration, man. All right, anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.